You know those two guys from work who won't shut up about football, but are pretty damn entertaining? Well, they decided to buy a couple microphones. And with that, we welcome you to the CheesyCorn Sports Podcast, where Justin Adams and Martin Cheney wrangle over everything college football and NFL. Bold predictions, hot takes, and live game reactions. This is CheesyCorn Sports.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Corn, and that is my compadre Cheese over there with the ridiculous hat on. We're coming out with that.
Yes.
This is what we're doing to start the season. All right. How you doing, Martin?
Oh man, this is like a national holiday to me. I'm so excited. It's the best time of year. I'm ready to kick it off.
That it is the best time of year. It is back. College football season's in full flux. The NFL season is finally here. Baseball season is rounding out to the end. It's starting to get fun, starting to get exciting. And I was thinking about it last night, just how ridiculously long the off seasons feel. It's absurd. I was thinking about it. I'm like, just think about how long ago it was, like how long ago it felt that we ended our last live podcast, right? And compare it to now. And I feel like it's been like a decade. It's the most excruciating wait. And it's finally over. We're finally here. We're ready to get this baby popping. So, all right, Cheney, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people if they don't know who you are by now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cheese. That's Corn. Avid, passionate, die-hard Green Bay cheesehead till I die. And we are just ecstatic that you are going to be joining us on this journey that is called the 2023 NFL season.
Yep. And kind of our thing here is we just like to casually talk football, talk fantasy. We're going to run through the games today, run through some rankings, maybe starts of the week. Just kind of see what we can get into here. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Let us know what lineup questions you have or anything like that. You pop in and get anything new that we may not know, pop it in there. Otherwise, just hang out and let's have a good time. So, all right, Cheney, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. And also, you can see our socials for our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at the bottom on our socials. You can also see our personal individual socials below our names there. So that should make that all easier. All right. Sorry, if my eyes are red, got allergies. It's really bad. Like I'm all congested and stuff too. So, but we'll get there. Hey, what's up, Corey?
I love it.
Corey's in the comments.
Hey, by the way, shout out to our amazing CheesyCorn sports editor, Corey of Toro Space Digital. If you guys need any editing services and whatnot, he's your guy.
Yep.
He's your guy. Please don't take away from the bandwidth that he gives us because he's a godsend to us. But
absolutely, this would not look anything like it does without him. So
absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, Cheney. I'm going to let you. What we're going to do here first. Let's start going over into the games, and I'll let you go ahead and whatever game you want to start with.
Okay, sure. Let's start with Carolina and Atlanta.
Okay.
That's just the game at the top of the list here for me. So we'll start there. We get to see the emergence, the debut of quite a few offensive players in this one. We get the first career start for Bryce Young, Jonathan Mingo, and of course, the ever illustrious Bijan Robinson. Justin, what are you really looking for from both teams here in this one?
Oh, for me, Bijan, of course. It's really the running back matchup. Bijan is going to be the one that everybody's excited to see. I think Bijan's the one that Bijan's one of those players that we know he's going to be great today and he's going to be good and going to be produced, but we all want to see just how good he really is, see what it looks like on the field in the NFL. with the Panthers, man, with the Panthers is going to be who is actually fantasy relevant from the Panthers. Outside of what, Miles Sanders?
I was going to say Miles Sanders.
That's it. So, like, outside of that, who do you feel comfortable with? And so with this one is, outside of Kyle Pitts and Drake London, of course, but with Kyle Pitts and Drake London, it's going to be a matter of who's going to be establishing themselves as the target guy. I don't know if we're going to learn a lot from week 1, but there could be some lessons that we can take away from that. Outside of that, it's just going to be for somebody on the Panthers to try to consider themselves fantasy relevant. I do think the Falcons are going to win this game. I do think that they have the talent on the offensive side of the ball. I think the Panthers are a little bit in a flux situation right now. I don't know too much what to expect with them. I don't know how Sanders is going to be used, but based on how his contract looks, the numbers on his contract indicate that he will be used pretty heavily. So I think Miles Sanders is one of my very underrated backs. I have him, as you know, in a couple leagues. So I'm looking forward to seeing Miles Sanders and Bijan, but the biggest story's got to be how that pass offense is going to shape up for the Falcons.
Yeah, and my thing as far as like for me, the biggest question mark is what level of support does Bryce Young have going into this game, right? It's like you kind of alluded to the pass catchers. Adam Thielen comes into this game kind of shaken up already. He's on the older side. He's been battling some injuries over the past couple of years. I think DJ Chark, is listed as one of those guys as well. To me, it's all about establishing the connection from Mingo to Young. Now, I don't think it'll be fantasy relevant week 1 because it truly takes a special type of rookie to really go in there week 1 of your NFL career and actually like demand a workload. We saw that with Jahmyr Gibbs on Thursday, right? Yeah. Like he's a rookie, regardless of draft capital. You got to get like eased into it unless you're like a quarterback that plays literally every single offensive down. So let's like temper expectations, right? As we kind of switch over from like the offseason dynasty fantasy format of mindset to redraft. But I like what you said about Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders is going to be one of those lower offensive talent, but higher volume backs, simply because there's no one in that entire offense to really demand the amount of targets and opportunities that he really would, or that anyone else would. So you hit the Falcons spot on. I'm not even going to touch on that. I think Ritter, if you for some reason ended up having to stream a quarterback week 1, if you're one of those people that just likes to stream quarterbacks from week to week throughout the entire season, I think Desmond Ritter is one of those kind of like sleeper quarterbacks that you might be able to like throw in there on a last chance, and you might get a positive result out of it. But that's really all I had on them.
Yep. First question here. Looks like we got Alex. Thanks for popping in, Alex. Kenneth Walker and Najee PPR. Well, I guess I can take this one away considering Najee's my sit of the week. So I'll go ahead and break that news. Might as well. My sit of the week, Najee Harris. Terrible matchup. I mean, it's really what there is to it. Terrible matchup. I don't necessarily like Kenneth Walker more than I like Najee. I just think this week, just the matchup specific. And when I say that I think Kenneth Walker is a little bit better this week, I have them 11 and 12. So that should tell you right there. Kenneth Walker 11, Najee 12. So I would go with Walker here. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's for me, it's a little bit more easy. I think it's definitely Kenneth Walker. Off the injury report now, the groin is a non-issue anymore. I'm glad that they got all that sorted out. Zach Charbonnet was also banged up over the course of the preseason as well. So there's not really as much concern for me as, as everyone was freaking out during the offseason.
Right.
You got a nice, easy matchup against the Rams without Cooper Kupp. I personally don't think this game is going to be close. And so with that, I think the Seahawks are going to get out to a lead relatively early. And then as we get later into the game, it's going to become more of a, hey, just run the clock, just chew up the clock, hand the ball off to Walker, and get him his touches that he needs. So you touched on Najee perfectly with your sit of the week. I'm rolling 100% Kenneth Walker on this one.
And to your point, the Steelers are probably going to be playing from behind a lot, so they're probably going to be throwing. At least me. I personally think the Niners will win that game. But all right, any more questions? Cool. All right, I guess we can go ahead and move along. Let's move on to, you know what? Let's talk about the Texans. All right.
Okay.
Texans Ravens. Let's talk about it for a second. From an unbiased perspective, I'm a Texans fan. For everybody's awareness, I'm a Texans fan. So, Cheney, unbiased third party about the Texans. Fantasy value wise, who on that team would you start? And let's say who you think would be a starter in a start 10?
Okay, sure. Dameon Pierce.
Yep.
I don't mind Dalton Schultz. I think if you waited in your draft, you can definitely use Dalton Schultz as your tight end.
Yep.
Receiver wise, I took a couple late round flyers on Nico Collins this year as well. I'm not necessarily starting him week 1 because I want to see what Stroud looks like, and maybe wait until he gets into one of those divisional matchups where we have a little bit more of a better image of what's going on in the league this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I missed anyone. That's probably it for me. For a start 10. Once you get into the 12 and 14 team leagues, like the super deep leagues, you can start entertaining Tank Dell. If it's a super flex, 12 team league, you could entertain CJ Stroud. But yeah, that's really about it for me.
Yeah, I was just curious because for me, it's I'm pushing Stroud there just maybe as a little bit of a biased fan. But yeah, Pierce, and then like you said, in the deeper leagues, it's really hard to trust any one of these wide receivers right now. As we know, John Mechie's out again, so week 1 he's going to be out. So it's going to be Tank Dell, Nico, Robert Woods, Dalton Schultz, and there's no clear and established wide receiver 1. Tank Dell seemed like the go-to guy as far as just targets go in that offense in the preseason. It seemed like Nico was the guy that they wanted to target to the sticks and down the field more. So, I'm excited to see kind of who emerges in that offense as the go-to guy. But a lot of indications, in my opinion, that it probably will be Schultz just because, just as far as his safety net, Schultz is going to get a lot of targets. I like Schultz a lot, especially in the early goings as CJ Stroud's still just trying to round out and stuff like that. But CJ Stroud also is one of those guys that I feel like he could even go in there and immediately start spreading the field. So it's one of those things. I'm not 100% sure if I'm too confident in Dalton Schultz or not. I got him on one of my teams, but I'm not willing to start him just yet. But yeah, Pierce 100%. I think the rest are all fringe players, but I think Pierce is the only guy you're probably without a doubt starting. So
100%.
Picks in this game, I got Texans covering.
Yeah. So
you know what that also means? Okay, go ahead.
No. Go ahead, because I have to find the actual stat.
Find it. However, Texans Ravens my lock of the week.
Oh,
all right. Cheney, against the spread. All right, relax.
No, I hear you. I just
don't wow me.
Your lock of the week is interesting to me. That's all.
Is it your lock of the week, Cheney?
It's not my lock of the week.
Oh God, what is happening? Then what are you doing?
I have a better
quote
lock of the week.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to say you're cooking and you're about to just completely dismiss mine.
Oh no.
What I felt like was happening. I thought you were about to just come in and just like completely just can't cuss, right? YouTube?
Can we cuss?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Somebody from YouTube headquarters call me.
I think we can cuss. We didn't mark this as like 4 kids, so
All right.
it should be good.
Cool. All right, go ahead.
I mean, I can
What's up,
break
Curtis? Hold on, Curtis. All right, Curtis. I was talking to him last night. I told him you're a Packer fan. He's a big Bears fan, all right? So I told him to bring his ass in here.
Okay.
Come talk some trash to you. Yeah, he worked with me at Amazon before. So what's up, Curtis? Appreciate you hopping in here. And yes, we got a cheesehead, and you can go after him all until the game start. You got an hour and 45 minutes to go after this guy. All right, where are you going, Cheney?
First of all, Curtis, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for hopping on the show. Second, I hope you are ready for another 15 years of dominance in the form of Jordan Love. Second, all right, let's get back to Ravens Texans here, right?
I'm just gonna pretend like
let me throw some statistical analysis your way, some trends, right?
Sure.
Lamar Jackson listed as a favorite of more than 3 points. This is since 2021, 1-13 against the spread. It's a 9.5 point favorite this week. Do with that what you may.
Yep.
Let's see what else here. Okay. Since 1993, I know it's a large sample size, so it can be a little skewed, but hear me out.
Yep.
If the team missed the playoff in the previous season and the spread is under 12, or in between 8 and 12, my bad, the underdog is 38-12 in covering. The Texans are plus 9.5, plus 10, whatever. Fits the scheme perfectly.
Yep.
I'm also riding Texans plus 9.5. I'm not
go, baby.
But yeah, which is crazy because you're gonna hear me now talk about my start of the week.
Oh, good.
Which is in this game, and it is my boy, Mr. Jalen Dobbins. And fair warning, I am going to expose some of the poor defensive statistics from the Texans last year.
Oh, like God, I already heard these. Don't do this again. All right, go ahead.
I warned you that it was going to happen.
Go off.
Against the running back position last year, the Houston Texans gave up the most fantasy points per game to the running back position. They gave up the most touches per game to the running back position, gave up the most total yards per game to the running back position, and they gave up the most total touchdowns to the running back position. Jalen Dobbins, or more commonly known as JK, J.K. Dobbins, finally on 2 healthy legs. They're going to be in a more, I guess, traditional offense with their new offensive coordinator to start the year.
Yep.
To me, that means, okay, no more or a lot less ad-libbing, putting everything on Lamar Jackson's shoulders, utilizing an actual running back in their backfield, and then letting Lamar become more of a quarterback. To me, 2 + 2 = 4, and this matchup plus, all of the stats that we have seen equals J.K. Dobbins. That is why he is my start of the week. If you have him in any league, I don't care how stacked your running back room is, you need to find a way to get him in your lineup.
Yes, sir. That's good, Cooper. Yeah. I don't think you need to find a way to get him in your lineup. I think I get actually, okay. Right. I'm not going to say don't put him in your lineup. I'm not going to say the Texans have completely just resolved their run defense problems. They have significantly got better. DeMeco Ryans is there, and that's all I got for you. Hey, listen, I can't really say anything until I see it on the field. I'm just going to sit here and just preach about, I did that all last week about Nebraska, and look what that did to me. So,
well, I mean, I do think the Texans have gotten better since last year.
Absolutely.
However, it's still a favorable matchup.
But Jimmy Ward's out too, so Jimmy Ward really hurts. Him being out in our secondary, that really hurts. So yeah, I guess I'll let it slide. No. All right, let's get into. Were you done with that game?
Yes.
Ravens. Interesting though on the Ravens Texans. You have Lamar at QB2.
I do.
I have him at QB3, so
I got you.
no, I'm not too far off. But
Just because I don't think he's covering the spread doesn't mean he's not going to do good.
And but all the way to second. So in your preseason rankings, you had Lamar pretty low, and now you have him second against Texans. Is that the run defense that you're kind of banking on?
Well, let's keep in mind he's not playing the Houston Texans every week of the season. He is playing the AFC North twice.
I think I was trying to bait you into telling me why you think he's going to do so well against Texans. All right, cool. So let's slide over into another one. Let's go. What do you say? Let's go to Cowboys Giants.
Cowboys Giants. Ooh, a little primetime matchup, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Corey. I didn't mean to click that up. Yeah. So Cowboys Giants. What's your thoughts, overarching thoughts on the Cowboys this year? What are the Cowboys going to look like? Is it going to look like a success? Is it going to be a little bit of the same? What do you think of that?
I think the excuses for Dak Prescott are gone. It was always, it was Jason Garrett. And then it was the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and his scheme just wasn't good for Dak Prescott. Well, they have so much support now. Tony Pollard is going to finish as, upside finish as a top 5 running back this year throughout the season. You brought in a solid wide receiver 2 in Brandon Cooks to help alleviate the over-the-top coverage against CeeDee Lamb. You drafted a tight end, early in day 2 of the draft. And then you still have Jake Ferguson, who's, in my opinion, a sleeper throughout the season as well. I think all bets are off, honestly. Trayvon Diggs last year in comparison to the year before he showed a lot of actual improvement as far as his actual coverage abilities. All bets are off, and it's going to come down fully to what Dak Prescott can do. If he goes out there and he throws, 12 to 15 picks again and, 30-ish touchdowns, to me, that's not good enough. You have a good enough offense with a good enough defense to help support you and win you those games. I think the range of outcomes for Dallas this year are very, very large because this NFC East division has accumulatively gotten better over the past few seasons.
Right.
It's not just the Eagles. It's, Dallas, the Giants made the playoffs last year as well. The Commanders are one of my favorite sneaky teams, yours as well, coming into this year. So it's
and the Giants wide receiver room, it's a mess of nobody knowing who is going to, again, like the Texans, who's the guy there. Wandale will be back. Hopefully Wandale can stay healthy. Wandale's a big important part of the Giants offense. But yeah, with Cowboys, it's a whole lot of the same. It's going to be a whole lot of Dak. It's going to be a whole lot of CeeDee Lamb, and instead of Zeke, it's just going to be a heavy dose of Pollard and maybe a little Deuce Vaughn thrown in there. Doubtful. I don't know how that little dude's going to take a hit.
Fucking Darren Sproles 2.0, huh?
Curtis, Giants are his upset pick of the week. Yeah, I mean, I can rock with that. That's not a far-fetched thing anyways. I'm surprised the spread is as big as it is, but I think Daniel Jones is okay. Like that's as far as I'll go. Last year, like you were calling him like Danny Dimes and stuff. I can't get with all that.
No, I said he upgraded from Danny Dimes to Danny Dollar.
I can't call him anything but like trash.
That's a $40 million quarterback right there.
All right, listen, he's not trash. I'll give him a little bit of credit, but the NFC least, you remember those days? The NFC least was fun.
Yep.
I wish it would go back to that. Now it's the fortunately the AFC South. Not for long though.
Yeah.
Cowboys equal Basura. Translate. Darren Waller, 80 yards. Shane, you were talking about Waller. You were talking about Waller, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday?
I know he's listed as questionable, but
yeah, if he suits up, plays 80 yards.
I think if he plays, yeah, I think 80 yards is a good deal for Darren Waller. The way I'm looking at it here is that offense runs through Saquon Barkley, which is going to open up a lot of the play action, which you can feed Darren Waller on those flat routes, little, 5-yard outs, 10-yard, type of short intermediate routes as Daniel Jones is rolling out. Not that hard of a read for him. Yeah, I don't mind Darren Waller 80 yards at all. Maybe even sprinkle in a anytime tutty.
Oh, now we're getting dicey. All right. Cool. Okay, so let's get into another game here. Let's go into we'll run into one more specific game that we'll talk about, and then we can run into some rankings and other stuff. So, all right, let's go with Jaguars and Colts.
Okay.
Let's see what we got. Anthony Richardson. You're going to see him here in a little bit. If Michael Nathan shows up, he'll be happy with something. I'm about to tell him here in a little bit, but Jaguars at Colts. Colts, who knows what we're going to see from the Colts? That is the biggest question mark in the day. It's one of the things that makes this game the most intriguing is they have the biggest question mark on probably in fantasy right now, and then they have the biggest question mark as a team and what the hell it's going to look like. Oh no. I'll accept it today, though. I'll accept it today. I'll accept the Duvals today only against the Colts, so I can talk trash to Michael. But it is going to be. This is an exciting game because a lot of people are going to want to see what Anthony Richardson's got, what he's going to be looking like out there, and what even the Colts are. The Colts have been Jonathan Taylor for so long. Before that was Andrew Luck, and now they have no Jonathan Taylor. This is why I don't have Michael Pittman in any of my leagues. I'm not a big Michael Pittman guy. I don't trust Michael Pittman. I don't even know how they came up with the spread for this game, to be honest. But I do think the Jaguars probably are going to win this easy. I think Trevor Lawrence, of course, is going to start his campaign of a phenomenal season. It's going to be his best season without a doubt. Trevor Lawrence is going to have a big, big year. We get to see a little bit of the ETN Tank Dell situation in that backfield to see what kind of usage, how that usage split's going to go and stuff like that. And then we get to see the Jaguars wide receiver core that is honestly pretty solid. They got a stacked wide receiver core. A few guys that we're interested to see. And then I think, outside of that, man, not really too much fantasy going on. But what is your expectation for Anthony Richardson in week 1? What is a good game for him, and what do you think is kind of serviceable? Or what do you expect? Sorry. What do you expect, and then what do you think is good?
What do I expect? 180 passing yards, 2 picks.
No touchdowns.
Maybe a rushing touchdown, and you're going to see it plastered all over ESPN for the next week.
Especially if it's some ridiculous throw where he just gets lucky.
What I would consider a good game for him is 200 passing yards, throw in 50 rushing yards, and 1 or less turnovers.
Yep.
I think controlling the ball security is probably the biggest thing for him. It's
and just seeing.
I'm looking at the comments right now. John Quinn says Richard INT is a lock. I have to agree.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
185 passing, 45 rushing. Yeah, that's probably a better, more realistic type thing. This is going to be a messy game for the Colts, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm in line. I'm in line with you on your Richardson stats. I think similar. I think he'll probably have somewhere in the ballpark of maybe 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yep.
Maybe 1 rushing, 1 passing. But yeah, I think he'll have a good game. I have him pretty well. Well, yeah, I'll tell you how I have him in a little bit. But yeah, I'm a little bit higher on him than you, Cheney. I think he might throw 1 or 2 interceptions. I'm not super high on him, but I think they're going to be playing from behind, and I think that's going to help him this week. So, and I think when they're playing from behind, they're probably going to let Richardson they're going to probably let him play a little loose, a little free, but also just try to like make sure they get him in some kind of passing rhythm, but hopefully not try to, I guess, challenge him too much to where he starts making mistakes. For him, it's going to be getting out there, getting his confidence throwing and getting into rhythm. They need to keep him going with short stuff, RPOs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm excited for Richardson this week. I'm excited for this game. Surprisingly, I've never thought. Well, I mean, I would have not thought that I would ever be excited to see Jaguars Colts to watch a quarterback battle, but especially with the state of the Colts quarterback situation last year.
Yeah.
So,
Cooper did ask a good question. Well, what's the expected snap count percentage between Evan Hull and Deion Jackson? I took the AR5 question, so you go ahead and take this one.
Oh, you're gonna leave me with the difficult one, huh? Damn, that's tough. Yeah, I have to think on this one. I don't know because I don't really know who, because I like, all right, Evan Hull. I love Evan Hull, right? I would love to see him get the majority of the carries.
Sure.
I just don't know. Cooper, you got me stumped there, man. I want to say Evan Hull will lead the snap count. Just in my perfect world, Evan Hull will lead.
I would love to agree with you,
but I don't think it'll happen.
No, Deion Jackson has started games in his career before. I think the Colts are going to do their best effort in trying to get Anthony Richardson as comfortable as possible in a structure.
The percentage though, that's what I'm.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot. I'm going to say 70-30.
You think it'll be that? Yeah.
In favor of Deion Jackson.
Maybe 70-30 to start. I think ultimately it can be of a 60-40 split, and I hope it becomes a little bit closer to 50-50 because I do think that Evan Hull's talent is better, but like you said, it's just experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the experience thing for me. Kind of like what we saw with Jahmyr Gibbs on Thursday, right? Jahmyr Gibbs was clearly the better running back of the two, more explosive, kind of stuff. But because it's his first game, didn't really see the field that much. So I think for week 1, it's going to be Deion Jackson, and obviously we'll monitor the Jonathan Taylor stuff throughout the year as well. But until he comes back, I think it's going to slow. As long as Evan Hull shows progression, we will we'll see his snap count start to go up over the weeks.
Yep. Unless Deion Jackson comes out just killed, but I don't see that happening. I think the upside's higher with Hull, and I think that's where we're more excited. So, all right.
100%.
Curtis got a question. Martin, why were the Packers trying to get Jonathan Taylor when they have A.J. Dillon and Aaron Brooks? That was interesting.
It is a good question. First of all, Aaron Brooks was a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints back in the mid-2000s. Let's put some respect on the University of Texas El Paso legend.
Aaron Brooks.
All right.
You just made a Aaron Brooks Saints reference. That takes me back. That takes me way back.
Second, it's like I want to talk shit so bad, but it's a good question because I asked myself the same exact thing the day that the news broke about, like them wanting or them trying to trade for Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
And the reports came out that the Packers were offering A.J. Dillon for Jonathan Taylor. So it would have been a tandem between Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones, which love it on paper, but at the end of the day, Quadzilla is a through and through cheesehead. He loves the city of Green Bay. The fans love him. The Quad Father, as he's affectionately known throughout Packers social media. He just, I don't know. Luckily, the Colts countered with a stupidly ridiculous asking price. They asked for Dylan, Christian Watson, and a first-round pick just for Jonathan Taylor. So luckily, we didn't have to entertain that. But it's a good question, and the answer is I don't know.
Daniel, go away. I need Daniel. I'm sorry. I welcome views, but I'm gonna need you out of here.
Is the Pac-12 still undefeated, by the way?
Pac-4?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know who lost.
Does Bijan get the Gibbs treatment today? Does Algier get the majority of the snaps? Bijan does not get the Gibbs treatment. Bijan.
I would be very surprised if Bijan got the Gibbs treatment.
I think at worst, this one will be 60-40 at worst. Yeah. But
I think you're seeing 15 to 20 opportunities for Bijan Robinson today. I almost called him Bijan Gibbs just now, but
you better have 20. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Chris. Thanks. We've been working hard at this, getting it ready for the season. So we were excited to show it to y'all and break it out. So appreciate that. Appreciate the feedback, man.
Let's get some love in there for the cheesehead. Thank you, Jade.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Jade. Love it. Love it.
I'll bring my corn hat out eventually, but it's just not yet. I gotta get into some winning first before we bring out that.
For sure.
All right, Cheney. Go ahead and take it away. What do you say we get into start and sit of the week? I think we already went over one or the other.
You took your sit of the week. I took my start of the week. You know what? We can cover my underdog of the week and your start of the week in the same game. So let's get into it. Why don't you take us through your start of the week?
All right. My start of the week is going to be Mr. 3.7 yards per carry, as I have coined him on this channel. Alexander Mattison. Why is Mr. 3.7 yards per carry my start of the week? I think he's going to do a little bit better than 3.7 yards per carry. I like the matchup. He is a workhorse. They are going to be winning that game most likely, which means they will be going hefty dose of Alexander Mattison. I think he's just going to rack up yards where they're trying to control the game, run the clock. Mr. 3.7 yards per carry. He's not very efficient, but I think today he's going to have the volume. Volume is king. As we know, that's why we like Najee Harris. The only reason we like Najee Harris is because of volume. Start of the week, Alexander Mattison. Get him in there. All right, Trini.
Good.
Let's go.
All right. Let me get into my underdog of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Minnesota Fraudulent Vikings. It was. Let me explain here, right? First of all, Kirk Cousins is not the guy, right? He's in a contract year. I haven't seen anything about him trying to get extended or any of that stuff. It's always about, he's being overpaid and yada, yada, yada. You lost Dalvin Cook. And, even in an older age, Dalvin Cook runs circles around Alexander Mattison. You have Justin Jefferson, congratulations. You have, Jordan Addison, congratulations. It comes down to the defense, right? I think everyone is severely discounting Baker Mayfield because of what they saw last year in him, right? And let me take you through what Baker Mayfield did last year. Late in the offseason, he signs with the Carolina Panthers. He then is thrust into a system on a coach that was already on the hot seat. His system, no offense to Matt Rule, Justin, but he just wasn't he just wasn't an NFL coach. His offense did not fit with NFL schemes against NFL defenses. There wasn't that much talent around him. Like he had McCaffrey, and that was about it. And so then he is asked to go out there and in a system he doesn't know with a team he doesn't know and perform well. Obviously, didn't work out. He then moves on to the Rams, and then it was gross. Now, early in the offseason, he signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I think this is the first time in his career, in Baker Mayfield's career, that he is finally in an offensive system that fits his play style.
Mm-hmm.
He has two elite receiving weapons in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, which I flirted with Chris Godwin with my start of the week. But, of course, I had to go with my boy Ja'Kalen. Rachaad White is a severely underrated breakout candidate as
That's boy. You've been on the Rachaad White train since the beginning of last year.
Oh, since college.
Since
college at ASU.
Yeah.
He was one of the best receiving running backs coming out of college.
Yep.
And, even with Leonard Fournette last year in that offense, Rachaad White still saw a healthy target share out of the backfield. Now, it's just him. Like, you have Sean Tucker, the rookie, is the RB2 and whatnot, whatever.
Yep.
I think this game, the game flow is going to be a lot of, short and intermediate passes over the middle. The Vikings defense lost any credible, reputable linebacker, so the middle of the field is going to be wide open this year. The Bucs still have a good offensive line. So it's going to be a lot of Chris Godwin. It's going to be a lot of Rachaad White out of the backfield. It's going to, and all those types of throws we know Baker Mayfield can make.
Right.
And then when he wants to go deep, guess what? You have one of the best 50-50 ball receivers in Mike Evans that we, one of the most consistent 50-50 ball receivers in Mike Evans that we've seen. I think the Buccaneers not only cover the +5, but they win outright.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on that at all. All right. Yeah. So let's get into our special seasoning of CheesyCorn Sports here. I don't have the image up, Cheney. So, all right. So GG seasoning, the official seasoning of CheesyCorn Sports. I'm sorry I can't talk right now. I'm going to try to get that resolved at some point during this live stream. But use code CheesyCorn for 10% off. ggseasoning.com is where you can find it. This is a store owned and operated by my friend Matt Berger. His wife is from Senegal. She spent years and years creating this seasoning. It's an all-purpose seasoning. I use it for pretty much everything. It replaces most of the stuff in my seasoning drawer. It's just kind of a do-it-all. And you can get that over at ggseasoning.com using CheesyCorn for 10% off. There it is right there in all of its glory. His wife made that. It is great. They sell a ton of it. I constantly have some on hand. So he's a great guy. He's been very supportive of me, been very supportive of the podcast here, and we're happy to have him on board and be the official seasoner of CheesyCorn. So if y'all want to get over there and show him some love, go give him a follow on Senegal and Beyond, or you can find him right there at the Metal Jew. And then y'all get over there and get you some. So appreciate him for being so gracious to give us a code and stuff like that, so y'all can be able to enjoy it. So, all right, and y'all can find that in the description as well. So appreciate that, Cheney.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll let you take the Kirk Cousins one. That is that is right up in your wheelhouse.
Look, man,
I love Kirk Cousins for what it's worth.
Nobody defended Kirk Cousins more than I did last year.
True.
Right?
True.
Trust me. Everyone going into last year.
I was on him. I was the opposite.
Dude, I'm telling you, everyone that I talked to last year, minus you, of course, was Kirk Cousins is trash. He can't do anything, yada, yada, yada. No. I defended him tooth and nail, and it pained me to do so. And now, because he did exactly what I said he was going to do, everyone's on the Kirk train. They saw a couple videos with him shirtless in some chains, and they said, "Oh my god!"
Do you like that?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Don't worry, Curtis. I'll get to your comment.
Is Curtis stirring the pot?
Yeah, but now you know what? I caught the wave early. Now it's at its peak. It's about to crest. I'm getting off of it. Right. I think a lot of NFL teams this year got better, and I don't think the Minnesota Vikings are one of them. I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to be a stagnant offense this year. I think they're going to take a step back as far as their record, as far as the offensive production. And by week 6, you're going to have people going, "I don't know what happened. What happened to the Vikings of last year?" Just know here at 8:46 a.m. Pacific on September 10th, Cheesy of CheesyCorn Sports said it here first. Okay. Now we got a few more questions.
I knew you'd be the perfect person for the Kirk Cousins.
How can you not be a fan of Kirk Cousins after seeing the show Quarterback on Netflix? Come on now.
I did not. I actually have not watched that.
So, if anything, right, the only reason that people liked Kirk Cousins more than anyone else on that show is because Kirk Cousins is the only quarterback on that show that we got exactly what we thought that show would be. And that is the Hard Knocks-esque showing the actual work that goes into being a starting NFL quarterback. Mahomes, it was nothing but his family and then him doing a couple private workouts.
Hey,
didn't get to see anything inside the Kansas City facility.
Hey, let's remember, we got to go back to Mahomes. All
right. Marcus Mariota, the dude was benched by week 10. It was all about him and his, and his heritage and his culture, which is perfectly fine. But we wanted to see the work and the studying and the practicing and the leadership, and you only got to see that with Kirk Cousins. In my opinion, that is why everyone loved the Kirk Cousins segment, which of course, and then of course you throw him being the dad personality with, just being a fucking walking meme.
The whole meme thing. Kirk Cousins is a meme, but people genuinely like him at the same time, but sometimes the lines get blurred. And I think I like him now because he's a meme, because last year I wasn't necessarily saying he was trash and all that stuff. I was more so on the Vikings than I was on Kirk Cousins. But he was also part of it. I was definitely not on the Kirk Cousins train, that's for sure. But this year I am. I'm taking the exact trajectory of the people you just mentioned in your story.
Yeah.
Except I wouldn't go full trash. Kirk Cousins was what he was. He doesn't perform in prime time. We know that.
Well, let's also keep in mind that if you actually go through and watch Quarterback on Netflix, it generously glosses over the games that he played bad and the games he lost. They showed the Eagles game in primetime, which is great, but then it was 5 weeks later, they've won 4 of the last 5, and then that other one was he played absolute garbage. But they just don't talk about it. No. So it's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Kind of like Mahomes, right?
If anything, they actually showed a bit of Mahomes missing throws and actually getting frustrated a lot more than the Chris Collinsworth treatment.
Stop it, bro. I didn't even know the other team had a quarterback. I didn't know Jared Goff was on the field. I didn't even know if the Lions showed up, to be honest.
Oh man.
The camera wouldn't stop, would get off Mahomes. So
just don't ever let Tony Romo team up with Chris Collinsworth.
No, God, dude, I can't listen to Chris Collinsworth anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right, let's slide on over into, you did your underdog of the week, correct?
I did my underdog of the week, yes.
I think we know who my underdog of the week is. Yeah. Well, all right. I won't double it up.
You opened up with it.
Well, that was also my lock of the week. So yeah. I said I wasn't going to do that, then I did it. So hold on, all right. Let me do an actual underdog of the week.
While you find it, do you want me to go into my sit of the week?
I already know it. I'm gonna go. It's Dolphins over Chargers. I'm gonna go Dolphins over Chargers. I think the
Okay.
Dolphins. I have a big week expected for Tua. Tua is never mind. We'll get into our top tens, but I expect a big week for Tua. I think the Dolphins will beat the Chargers. So go ahead and lock in the Dolphins at +3. These were odds from last night. So if they have shifted this morning, we have not updated them. We loaded these in here last night. So, but that is mine.
As
All
per
right.
season sportsbook, by the way.
Yes. What was your take on that game?
No, I actually also like the Dolphins over the Chargers.
Cool.
It's not so much that I like the Dolphins better than the Chargers. I think the Chargers are primed to have a very good season.
Yep.
Kellen Moore moving over to the Chargers, that offense or his offensive scheme might not have worked for Dak, but I think it's definitely going to work for Justin Herbert. We could see a resurgence. I know Justin Herbert kind of took a backseat last year in production, but I think, we could see 4,500, almost 5,000 passing yards again from Justin Herbert this year.
Yeah, if he stays healthy for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and the thing is the big question mark on the Chargers team, right? Or the big question mark to me is Quentin Johnson, right? Like what was Quentin Johnson's big thing coming into the NFL? He's a big body receiver and stuff like that, but he can't hold on to the ball. He drops. And one of the things that always made him drop balls was him catching it with his body constantly. He's always catching with his body. And if you look at most of every single ball that he's missed this preseason, it's hit his body. And he's not learned. And if you're still trying to catch, that's basic stuff. If you're trying to catch Herbert fastballs and you're catching with your body, you're going to have a bad time.
It's true.
So Quentin Johnson, who I actually did kind of like there for a little bit, but going back to TCU, one of the big things that I didn't like about him was the fact that on his grade, his number was very much inflated by two of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the games he did elite, and then the rest of the games were good, average to good, a couple bad. And so Quentin Johnson was never a consistent guy. He, like I said, he had moments, but that seems to be a trend still continuing into his NFL career. And it doesn't seem like he's trying to make a conscious effort to stop doing it. So that is one guy I'll be interested to see this week and see if he can actually secure some targets, because if he gets out there and he starts dropping passes and loses Herbert's trust, he won't be out there very much. So yeah, that'll be an interesting thing. I'm excited to see that in that game as well. So
yeah, and like I said, just to finish my point on it, I don't think it's because the Dolphins are a better team than the Chargers. It's more so the value. I just, if the Chargers were the underdog in this game, I would probably take them at +3. You know what I mean? It's
their offense. The Dolphins' offense, to me, they can upset anybody. So that to me is just, it looked like the best opportunity for an upset because the Dolphins' offense is so explosive, and I know if they get going, nobody can keep up with that offense.
Yep, absolutely. You have Tua healthy coming into the season. Yep. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, back. A little banged up in the running back room, but when Raheem Mostert has been healthy in his career, he has shown out. It was always the injury bug that plagued him, and he right now has zero restrictions as far as his health. So I like it.
All right.
I think you froze.
Did I? Oh, I'll refresh. Be right back, guys.
All right. Let's get into my sit of the week while we're waiting here for Justin to return here. And that is going to be James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals against the Washington Commanders. James Conner is going to heavily rely this year on, high volume. And against this team, which we'll get into the same type of stats that I read out for J.K. Dobbins. with his matchup. We're going to get into those same type of stuff. James Conner is not primed to have a good week. All right, let me find it. Hold on here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Was it here? No, it wasn't there. I can find it. Just give me
What are you looking for?
1 second.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for I had the stats up earlier for James Conner.
Oh, exciting stuff that we're waiting on here.
Oh no, it's just going to be talking shit on him, really.
Oh, Chris, Mahomes the GOAT can do nothing wrong. Yes, dude. He was the only one who bat me the other day in the chat. Justin Herbert MVP season. Yeah, I love Justin Herbert this year. Chargers winning the division.
Shit. I found it.
Chargers, Chargers. I love a Super Bowl team this year. They're healthy. Mike Williams is back. Yeah. They're a very good team, and we haven't even mentioned the man himself, Austin Eckler.
Yeah,
who is going to,
he has the weapons.
Yeah. He is in that age 28 running back season though. So it's going to be interesting to see if he shows any sign of regression. Hopefully not, because I drafted him in the first round of our league bet.
Yeah.
If he shows any regression, it would be interesting to see who kind of becomes that guy that takes a little bit more of that workload.
Yep.
So
all right.
So you find it?
Let me read out some stuff here for James Conner, right? Because I think you're definitely going to be seeing like a 15 to 20 carry game for James Conner with like 50 total yards. That's it. The only thing that could save James Conner's day here is a touchdown, like on the goal line type stuff. The Cardinals have one of the worst offensive lines, if not the worst offensive line in the league. They got worse. They're in full tank mode. They don't have a good quarterback to help supplement James Conner's production. The Commanders' defense last year, against the running back position, again, fantasy points per game allowed against the running back position, second. Touches per game, first. Receptions per game, third. Total yards per game, third. And total touchdowns per game, second. That is a top 3 defense against the running back position last year. Now, like I do know Chase Young is not going to play this week. However, he didn't play a lot of last year, if at all. I don't remember him playing at all last year. You still have Montez Sweat. You still have that Ron Rivera type defense. And you can say what you want about Ron Rivera and his offense. His defense has always been on point.
Riverboat Ron, baby.
Yeah, you got Deron Payne down there on the D line. Justin and I have had a conversation before, and I said that the Washington Commanders have one of the most underrated defensive lines in the league. Yep. From their edge rushers to their interior guys, it's going to be great. Now you put that up against the bad offensive line in Arizona. You're at Washington. James Conner just doesn't have a recipe for success. If you have to start him, so be it. But it's also week 1, so if you are in a spot where you have to start James Conner, well, you probably should have drafted better.
Exactly. Yeah. Looking at you, Cooper. Well, actually, I think Cooper traded for James Conner, but yeah, James Conner's not anybody that I ever really want on my team, nor do I ever had him on any of my teams. So, yeah, not a big James Conner guy. All right, so let's see here. I think we can we got into your sit and start of the week, your underdog and your lock of the week. Have we done your lock of the week? I don't think so. Let's do your lock of the week.
Who the fuck did I have as my lock of the week?
Better figure it out.
I had it in my head.
You better figure it out. It was at Packers over Bears?
It wasn't Packers over the Bears. If Christian Watson was playing, I would say it's Packers over Bears.
Damn. Hey, Curtis, you hear that? He's not confident at all.
Oh, no, I'm still confident. Jordan Love is going to put the hurt on it. However, let's get into my lock of the week.
All right, let's do it.
Because we just established who isn't. It is the Seattle Seahawks over the Los Angeles Rams. Only a 5-point spread in favor of the Seahawks here. Not really sure why. Cooper Kupp officially going to the IR. I think you're going to see Cam Akers, and that's really going to be about it for the Rams as far as fantasy relevance.
Yep.
And the Seahawks are straight up loaded. Their best rookies at best are going to be in a slot role or a backup running back role. Their defense is looking like it's reloading to try and reestablish some sort of I'm not comparing them to the Legion of Boom before I say this. However, it does look like they are attempting to reload their defense with young guys to try and recreate the Legion of Boom.
I can accept that.
I wanted to preface that real quick before I get attacked saying that I'm calling the Seahawks the next Legion of Boom. Geno Smith is actually in my top 10 for quarterback rankings this week. He's like one of my stream of the week, start of the week type of deals. They're at home in Seattle. That always plays a factor with the 12th man and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think Seattle wins by at least a touchdown, if not 10 or more.
It's out there.
Is it?
No, I think, but I do like Akers a lot in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I like Akers a lot. You already alluded to earlier that you do kind of like Kenneth Walker in this game. So, yeah, no, I don't think it's outside. I think the Seahawks will win, but yeah. No,
all right, we got some questions.
One more thing too. Do you think there's any chance that any other running backs kind of mooch into Cam Akers touches? Because we know the Rams running back situation has been a little bit shaky, to say the best. Akers was the guy, but then he wasn't. But then he is the most talented guy in the backfield. But I don't think there's anybody in there who will eat into his touches at all. I know that was the worry of some, but I personally don't think so. I wasn't sure if you thought there was any indications that you thought that would happen.
I don't think so. I think last year at the end of the season, you saw Cooper Kupp go down and Cam Akers just absolutely take off at the end of the season. And then coming into the season, I was high on Cam Akers coming into the season, still am. Yep. And everyone's saying no, Cam Akers is a bust. It's going to go back to the Cooper Kupp show. Well, guess what? Cooper Kupp's now out for 4 weeks. So I see no reason to not believe in Cam Akers returning to that second half of the season type stuff. Yep. And getting some good fantasy production. Kyron Williams is talented, but I haven't seen it from him in a regular season format. Zach Evans is going to take some time to develop, if at all. It's just, it's Cam Akers.
Yeah, I drafted Kyron Williams last year, and I've pretty much given up hope. In Dynasty, I drafted him. I've pretty much given up hope on him having any shot at any touch in the backfield. Akers is the guy,
right?
Without a doubt. Just trying to get an alternate perspective there for the peeps. So, all right, Dame, thanks. Appreciate you popping in here. We're doing well, thank you, man. Need a flex this week. J Jets, Lamb, Chase as my wide receivers. Holy cow!
Yeah, congratulations.
How? Okay. Yeah, good job. 2 QB league. My flex options are Devontae Smith or Olave. Who do I pick? I like Devontae. Who do you like? I don't like Devontae more over the season necessarily, but I like Devontae this week. I have him higher in my rankings.
I like Olave.
Okay. I guess we are differing there. What's your thoughts on Olave, or is it just you prefer him over Devontae because of your rankings?
No, I prefer him in a dome against Tennessee more than the Eagles in New England. It's more the matchup.
It's a tough matchup for sure, and I know we were probably going to wonder why I'm picking him, but I don't know, man. Devontae. I feel like Devontae is going to come out hot this year. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Devontae is going to come off to a really good start. And I think there's a potential that Devontae could have multiple weeks early in the season where he outperforms AJ Brown. I have just this hunch on Devontae, and I know that the Patriots are a tough matchup, but I do think that they will lock up and stop A.J. Brown. And I think Devontae is going to have a lot of openings today. I think Olave is going to be schemed for a ton. So I don't know. I think Devontae, I think the fact that, A.J. Brown is going to be probably the focus. I don't necessarily know if the Patriots have necessarily the recipe or the speed to be able to kind of contain both of them. So I like Devontae Smith.
Okay.
I do love Olave, though. Olave is one of those guys who's going to be consistent week in and week out, man. But
all right. Dane has another question for us.
Kincaid or Chig?
We got, lastly, Kincaid or Chig Okonkwo this week for Dynasty PPR, and he needs one flex, James Cook, Addison, or OBJ. What you got?
I like Chig as
Okay.
far as for just starting this week. I like, man, that's tough, but I think I'll go with Chig. I like Chig this week over Kincaid. I want to see what Kincaid looks like in that offense before. I want to see what that Bills offense looks like and see what Kincaid's role in that offense is. But I'm going with Chig for Dynasty PPR. If it's Dynasty and you have an option of the two, I'm going Kincaid. But just for starting this week, Chig. One flex, James Cook, Addison, or OBJ. I like Addison. I think Addison's going to have a really good year, and I think he's going to have a good game this week. I think he's going to kind of have a little bit of a breakout this week. Nothing too crazy. Of course, he's always going to be second fiddle to Justin Jefferson, and then now you have Hawkinson there. So it's going to be interesting to see his target share. But I do think he's going to have a solid game, maybe somewhere in the realm of five catches. Eight targets, 5 catches, 80 or so yards, maybe a touchdown. And if so, that's a very good game for a flex spot. So I like Addison there.
Yep, I agree on Addison. I'm actually fading Chig this week. I like his upside for the rest of the year.
Yep.
But the Saints were a very tough
They were.
tight end matchup in fantasy last year.
They were. Yep.
I'm not going to dive into the numbers. Just they were top of the league against the tight end position last year. I'm going to roll Kincaid on that one. Kind of a risk with, rookie tight ends and stuff like that. But
Kincaid's solid, though.
Yeah, I like the
think you
matchup
go
and how
wrong.
they were using him in the preseason.
I think each one of them is a risk. I think because Chig is in rankings anywhere from 10 to 21 is low. I've seen him as low as 21. So there seems to be less of a floor for a lot of people on this week with Chig. It could be my Chig, me owning Chig in a couple leagues and me just kind of like convincing myself. But I just like Chig this week a little bit more, like you said. But Kincaid being the rookie and stuff like that. But it's just like I said, either one of those, I don't think you can go wrong, and each one of them's a risk. So, but I'm a lot more confident in the Addison as the flex. Let's get this stuff out of here, man. Who did you invite in?
Go, Pat, go. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you coming in to the show and showing out that support. Cheese till I die. I love it.
All right.
Take that, Curtis.
Let's get him out of here, guys. Let's get this tiny guy out of here.
We got a question from the Jackalope. Mike Evans or Alexander Madison this week, PPR.
Hold up. Bring it up, Corey. Bring up Mr. 3.7 yards per carry real quick. Jackalope, I'll answer your question right here. My start of the week, Mr. 3.7 yards per carry, Alexander Madison. Yes, Alexander Madison, I love this week. Again, they're going to be winning that game. Alexander Madison is getting a workhorse back load, which is very hard to come about with any running back in the NFL these days. And they're going to be playing with the lead. They're going to be running the ball. Efficiency, be damned. I don't care. He's getting the volume this week. I like Alexander Madison.
Yep, I agree. I kind of talked about with the Buccaneers. I like Godwin. I like Rashad White. Mike Evans, not as much. I think Madison is more of a sure thing for the flex option. So
cool. Yep. All right. So that's always good when you have a unanimous answer to your question.
Yeah.
All right. So I got Cup out. Me too. So do I start P. Ryan, Juju, or Michael Thomas full PPR? What say you, Cheney?
Love Michael Thomas in his matchup this week against Titans. Titans were one of the worst defenses against the wide receiver position last year, which kind of also alludes to why I went with Chris Olave on the previous question.
Yep.
I think Michael Thomas has the potential to have a big week one. In fact, all right, here's a little bold take here. Michael Thomas is going to have
already
a Sammy Watkins-esque week one, and you're going to see all over social media next week saying that Michael Thomas is back and it's 2018 all over again, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying it will be.
Did you say Sammy Watkins as a reference to a good performance?
Week one, Sammy Watkins is the GOAT.
Oh, week one, Sammy Watkins. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Okay, I didn't hear the week one part. Got it.
It's going to be a week one Sammy Watkins performance for Michael Thomas.
I didn't hear the stipulation in there.
Yep. Booking.
All right, I'm booking it, I guess.
What you got?
Right. I'm with you. I'm in Juju though. Like, there's part of me really wants to throw Juju in my lineup in 1 week. I think I like Juju a little more. I love Michael Thomas. But Michael Thomas to me has lost a lot of steam in my eyes, and I really don't want to choose him to start currently. I would need to see him consistently perform, and I think Juju has a lot of upside this year, and I think Juju's going to get probably somewhere in the realm of 12 to 15 points this week in full PPR. So I like Juju.
Return of the Slant King.
Yeah. Slant God. All right. Conrad, what's up, man? If you could only take one of these running backs, who are you adding to your roster? Pirine, Warren, or a Bigsby PPR league? Probably Bigsby for me.
I like
Bigsby or Pirine. Oh, you like Warren? Okay.
I do. There's a lot of hype coming up saying that Warren is going to kind of eat into Najee Harris's volume. We saw already last year Jaylen Warren get a lot or eat into the receiving work, and now you're getting the hype train to come with it.
Yeah.
I like Jaylen Warren for the upside.
So the upside's there for sure. I just don't know how much he's actually going to cut into Najee's targets. I know everybody kind of got on the hype train a little bit last year, thinking that he should almost take over. And
right.
I don't know if we're coming off a hangover of that, and that's why that's kind of making me shove him to the side a little bit. And maybe the excitement, of course, the new rookie Tank Bigsby coming in there. And then you got P. Ryan, who's the handcuff to the oft-injured Javonte Williams. So, yeah. I think P. Ryan I would like P. Ryan if Javonte wasn't sounding as healthy as he is. But it sounds like Javonte's pretty good straights, right? Have you heard anything differing for Javonte?
I have not.
So P. Ryan has that built in that he's not the guy, and his really only role is probably going to be his big role is going to be when Javonte's out, and also P. Ryan's older as well. You got these young bucks here with Tank and Jaylen Warren. These guys might be able to hold up a little better, and of course, Tank Bigsby being the rookie with ETN there, we know that there's a big possibility that Tank Bigsby could eat a lot of the roll out of there in Jacksonville. I don't necessarily think it will. I think people got a little bit too overboard on thinking just how much it would eat into it, but I do think Tank is going to eat into it. So I'll rock with Bigsby. I'll pick Bigsby straight up.
Okay. Before we move on, I want to say thank you all for all the comments and the questions. Keep them coming. Absolutely love the engagement. We're about 45 minutes away from kickoff, so make sure you guys are finalizing those fantasy rosters, getting all your bets in that you want and stuff like that. And let's throw another task on the end of that there. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. You guys are already commenting. Hit the subscribe button as well. We're going to be coming at you every single Sunday morning throughout the year, fielding all your start sit questions. If you guys have, trade offers pending that you're considering, go nuts with them, right?
Yep.
Appreciate all the love and support, and we're going to be hitting you guys with this type of content all season long.
Yep. Shout out to everybody who's here. Appreciate y'all joining us on this opening Sunday. And yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff coming up for y'all. We are transitioning to live stream only, so there is going to be live streams popping up more and more. And yeah, we're happy to have y'all here, and we're excited for this year. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe and like if you like the content.
Yeah. Before we answer another question here, Justin.
Yep.
What's your Super Bowl prediction? Your Super Bowl matchup and Super Bowl winner this year?
Okay. Damn. I actually forgot. We talked about it the other day. I'm trying to remember who I had. All right, let me pull my stuff. Let me pull my notes up from that video, and we'll come back to that.
Okay. All right. We'll answer a few more questions while we're mulling over the prediction this year.
Because we talked about that in our recording that one day.
Yeah, I can't remember who I said.
I can't either.
All right. From our very own editor and producer and moderator, Corey, who is the PPR flop of the week? Man, that's actually a really good question.
PPR flop of the week? Yeah, it is.
No, PPR flop. Yeah.
What did I say? What did I say?
I thought you said PPR flex of the week.
Oh.
My bad.
Maybe I was just trying to flex. All right. Oh, no. Just kidding, guys. I'm not like that. PPR flop of the week. Oh, are you thinking of one?
I'm trying to think of one here on the fly here.
All right, let me see if I can think of one off the top of my head. Sky Moore. Okay, cool. Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney.
Sorry, I had to. And if you haven't yet, peep the thumbnail and check out Kadarius Toney. I think you'll like what he has to offer there.
I got mine.
Go ahead.
Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers. He is playing at the stadium formerly known as Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers defense, when fully healthy, is a top defense in which, you do have – there's no better time to have a healthy defense than the beginning of the season. And I think that San Francisco offense is slowly moving away from Deebo Samuel and his production. You saw Brandon Ayuk finish as a higher fantasy finish than Deebo last year. Christian McCaffrey getting into the offense. You still have Elijah Mitchell. George Kittle is back as well this year. Yeah, too many mouths to feed. Deebo Samuel going to flop this week.
All right. I think, mine's kind of crazy because it's actually not, I don't necessarily think it's a terrible matchup, but I just don't know how confident I am in him. And I know this might hurt because I was high on him before, but I'm just going to go with James Cook versus the Jets. For some reason, I don't know why I'm expecting when I was making my rankings, I just can't get the confidence in him that I'd like to see. And I do think the Jets are going to be, are going to play very well today at home. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go James Cook.
All right. Question
I
from...
didn't pick him earlier in that start sit too.
I got you. All right. Question from our very own Daniel Aviles. When do you think the Rams bench Matthew Stafford for Stetson Fleming Bennett IV?
I'll bring this here too. Oh, never. All right. Stetson Fleming Bennett IV is going to get cut, and he's going to go to the USFL because the XFL won't take him. And Daniel, you're going to have to start a USFL fantasy football league.
There you go.
To be able to start Stetson Bennett. What are your thoughts on that, Cheney?
The only thing that is going to keep Stafford off the field is another injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then Stetson Bennett will be very lucky if he sees the field after that.
I'm not entertaining that.
I have to. All right. You got to entertain Daniel. All right. He can't leave gifts here. So just to make sure you check on Martin in a few hours. Curtis, can we get a score prediction for that?
Yeah, let's get a score prediction, huh?
I'm very curious to know.
Let's do it.
Yeah, throw that in there. All right.
30-21 Green Bay, by the way.
30-21?
Yep.
That's your score?
That's my score prediction.
Okay. 30-21 Green Bay. All right,
Curtis does say awesome show, by the way, guys. Good stuff. Thank you, Curtis. Definitely appreciate the support.
Yeah, appreciate you, my man.
Shit talking,
Yes, sir. Well, hey, listen, I sent him after you. I was like, you got to tune in. He's a Packers fan. I didn't know if I tell him you were going to have the cheese head on or not, but I told him he had to come in here and just flame you for a little bit. So
I don't know if the cheesehead's going to make an appearance every single week, but definitely
how this week goes. If y'all lose this week, do you bring it back next week? Is the question.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, and actually, if y'all see at the bottom of the screen, scrolling down there, that's the updated injury report. So that is being updated consistently as news is announced. So you can always peek down there and try to see if any of your questionable and or out people are confirmed out, or if they're going to start. So peek down there to stay updated on the latest injury news. So sorry, Cheney, what were you laughing at?
Oh, Curtis's most recent comment.
Oh, what is that? I like cheese, just not that kind of cheese.
I like it.
All right. Sorry for that question. So one more. Who would you rather have in your roster? In Jigba, Burks, or Flowers and Jigba, bro? All day, baby. JSN is my dude.
Kind of want to say Zay.
Don't.
Kind of want to say Zay. I'm not saying Zay is a better receiver than Jackson Smith-Njigba, but
why would you want Zay on your roster then over Jackson Smith-Njigba? Just go with Jason. Just trust.
Situation, opportunity. We talked earlier about the Seahawks and their offense and how many weapons they have, and it is a run first offense. It's not a Geno Smith throw the ball 40 times a game. Yep. And so I think at times it'll be a little bit tough in order to get Jackson Smith-Njigba the consistent target share. The big playability is there. The talent definitely there. But I think until you start to see Tyler Lockett kind of fall off that age cliff, JSN is still a home run hitter for dynasty formats. I have no issues if you roster him in redraft either.
Yep.
But as far as, year one, I think I'll take Zay Flowers.
I just think I just think that JSN is so good that he's going to get open and he's going to force them to target him. I don't think it's one of those things. I think it's one of those it's going to be talent trump situation. Mm-hmm. And I think Jason's going to establish himself as a must target guy because he is so efficient and so polished with his route running. It is absurd. And I think no matter what they want to do, he's going to get open and he's going to make them throw him the ball. So that's just kind of my take on it. But I do see where you're coming from with that because we've always been kind of different in that regard. I've always been talent trump situation. And you've always kind of been like, well, I think it's both, or it's half. It's more even than it is one this versus that. So
yeah, I do like the talent versus situation type thing a little bit more. However, I don't like to. I always like to at least regard the situation.
Yeah.
Kind of use that as like a boost or a discount type thing. So yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
That makes sense. Yeah, I can rock with that. We'll accept that.
All right. Sleeper of the week, Legatron. Love it.
Oh, baby. Hey, I was about to flex. I'm about to start flexing kickers in that other league. Breece Hall or Drake London in the flex.
Ooh, Drake.
I think I have Breece Hall down. Like Dalvin and Breece are like down in my rankings, down at like the 30, 32-ish spot, right? So I don't necessarily know how that's going to look. I would probably, as hard as this is to say, Drake London, just because I do think that the risk is less there, believe it or not, in the Atlanta Falcons passing offense. But I do think that Drake London is definitely got more of a sure situation this week than Brees Hall does with the whole situation, with the injury and the Dalvin Cook and what that looks like. So,
yep, I think the Jets are going to be a little conservative in easing Brees Hall back in to it. I think that's like why they went and signed Dalvin, is so they could have the luxury of easing Brees back into it, getting fully healthy again. So my answer might be completely different like week 8 than it is now. But especially with this matchup, Carolina had a bottom 3 fantasy defense against the wide receiver position last year. I think we're going to see a big improvement out of the Atlanta Falcons offense this year now that they have more than just like 1 or 2 weapons to really go to. Desmond Ridder has had this is his 2nd year now in this system. He has a stud tight end, stud running back, and Drake London, who had very comparable numbers last year to Chris Olave.
yep.
But Chris Olave went in the 3rd round, and then Drake London fell to like the 5th or 6th.
Yeah, exactly.
So I personally, for me, it's Drake London.
Yep. I'm with you there. Cool. Glad we agree there. Any more questions? Seahawks are only run first when not on the goal line in a Super Bowl.
I'm okay with that.
Do we have any Seahawks fans in here? If so, they're not going to like this.
Doesn't
All right.
matter.
Huh?
Seahawks fans didn't exist prior to fucking 2012.
That's true. Absolutely true. If only Abdi was here to hear that.
Yeah, I know
We'd
he
love
was.
that.
He was
All
there
right.
prior to the Matt Hasselbeck years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. He's an OG for sure.
OG for sure.
Nope. Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you hopping on here and asking questions. And again, if y'all haven't yet, please drop your questions down in the comments, and we will pull them up here and we will answer them as we can get to them. So let us help you win your week. And actually, if y'all see me messing around with a little bit of stuff over here, I might be actually kind of just messing my own or switching my own lineup because I forgot to set it before we started the show. So, but all right. Anything noteworthy in the injury report? I don't know of yet. So, but again, like I said, if y'all peek down there, right now it's going through our rankings. It's going to float through our rankings, our injury reports. It's going to float through socials and stuff like that. So keep your eyes on that bottom ticker just in case you see anything that might be of interest to you. So,
yep.
All right.
Let's pivot here, right? Let's do a quick little recap of the college day yesterday, right? We are more than just NFL. Obviously, we're here for NFL opening Sunday, but I want to talk a little bit about college. By the way, if you guys want full detailed analytical breakdown analysis, primarily for Nebraska football, Justin also is on the Voice of College Football Nebraska YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go and give that a like. Check that out. Super, super detailed, in-depth breakdown, interviews of former Husker players. He's always talking he does post-game lives every Saturday or whenever they have games. Definitely go give that a like and subscribe as well. It's like, I'm not a Nebraska fan, but I still tune in because I appreciate people who talk and know ball. And that is exactly what you get with that channel. So make sure to give that a look as well.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Okay, so real quick, I didn't really get to watch the Texas-Alabama game yesterday because we were getting prepped for this morning.
Exactly.
I don't know if you had any thoughts on that one.
Yeah, so actually it's Texas. I projected the Texas upset of Alabama. I actually have Alabama at 9-3 with losses to A&M, Texas, and LSU. And I have Texas at between 11-1 and 10-2 with losses to only Texas Tech and Kansas State. It was Texas Tech and one of the two between K-State and TCU, but I think K-State's a little bit better. So I fully expected that to happen. Quinn Ewers played out of his mind. He is taking the next step that everybody thought, Texas fans were kind of, already given up on him after last year, but he has come out this first couple of weeks and, Arch Manning is there at Texas now. And there's always that question mark in the back of their mind: is Arch Manning, if Ewers came out his freshman year and was supposed to light it up and couldn't, well, you have Arch Manning, one of the greatest QB recruits ever, sitting behind him. So he had to come out and perform. And did he ever? Very impressive. Texas just, they punched. And then when Alabama would try to swing back, they actually just hold firm for the first time I've seen a Texas team do in a long time. So thoroughly impressed by that one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. The only take I really have here is Alabama does not have a quarterback, and this is the first time in like probably 5-6 years that they haven't had a quarterback that has been at the top of the college game, and I think they're going to be looking for answers a lot this year.
Yep.
My only other thing is shout out Sam Hartman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm not a Fighting Irish fan by any means. In fact, I'm always one of their biggest haters, but I have followed Sam Hartman ever since he was a 3-star quarterback on QB1 on Netflix. Check that out, by the way. Went to Wake Forest, loved him at Wake Forest. ACC all-time passing leader, by the way, with Wake Forest. And then he came back, super senior season, wanted to improve his draft stock, show that he was an actual big-name quarterback. Transferred to Notre Dame and has been lighting it up. I didn't want to say too much on him when they played the likes of Tennessee State and Navy, but they did play North Carolina State, which is a bit better, a little bit more of a formidable opponent. And
but still, there was a few people expecting them to upset them. So
absolutely.
Yep.
And he went out, balled out 286 through the air, 4 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, there was a 7-point spread, but there was a lot of people picking NC State in that. So
yep, you'll probably, if he continues to impress, you're going to hear me talk a lot more about him as we get closer, like throughout the season, and then especially as we start to transition into the off season. But again, that's ways away because we haven't even started week 1 yet. So let's get back to the NFL, where we have another question from Curtis. Thoughts on Kenny Pickett against the 49ers?
Nope.
Nope.
That's it. Just don't do it. Don't.
Okay.
I don't want Kenny Pickett against the 49ers. It's going to be bad.
I think if you have a better option, go for it. However,
right. I'll give a reasonable answer. Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Just real quick. All right, yeah. Kenny Pickett to me is probably. I'm pretty sure you should be able to find somebody better on your waiver wire or hopefully on your bench because Kenny Pickett's down in the 20s for me this week. So not a big fan of it. I do think there's a potential that he may get garbage time points. Let's say if they get far enough behind. I don't necessarily think they will play from behind like that, but I don't know. I just don't. I think him against that Niners defense is just a very, very, very tough matchup. And I'm not a big Kenny Pickett guy to begin with. So I'd avoid that if I could. If you have other options, let us know who your other options are.
Personally, I'm not as out on Kenny Pickett. I thought he looked tremendous in the preseason, as well as I was expecting this offense to take a step forward this year anyway. We talked a little bit about that during the offseason, during our offseason rankings.
Yep.
But yeah, the 49ers, it's definitely a tough matchup week 1. You got Nick Bosa just signing his extension, so he ends his holdout and he's going to be out there as well. But I still like the Steelers in this one over the 49ers. They were one of my upsets that I liked. Just not like my underdog of the week type thing.
Yeah.
I think if you have a better option than Kenny Pickett, sure, go ahead with it. But I'm not looking at Kenny Pickett the same way that I looked at him last year, for sure.
Yeah, because last year you were captain of the small hands.
Yeah,
right there.
I was captain of the small hands committee, the Kenny Pickett hater group.
Yeah, now you're in his fan club. That's growth right there. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see here at CheesyCorn Sports. Growth.
Absolutely.
Like that. Growth.
I'm not one of those that as soon as I make an opinion on someone that can't be swayed. So, If I get proven wrong on someone, I get proven wrong on them, and I will own it.
I will, but if you call me out, I won't admit it otherwise. But
we have our first at freezing cold take of the year. Deuce Vaughn becomes the Cowboys' number 1 running back this year. No, he will not.
You know, there's a surgery to where you can get taller, but they have to break your legs. So if Deuce Vaughn can successfully complete that surgery and recover 100% to be able to play football, then I believe this may happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's the only way.
All right. So that might be some breaking news, actually.
No, I think
Javonte out week 1?
Yeah, I actually think that when I was talking about it, I actually think that I did see that there was a potential that Javonte was.
Let me look this up here.
No, he was a little bit banged up coming out of the. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Actually, I'll just let you pull it up so you can pull it up for us, and that way we're not both looking. But if Javonte's out, then you gotta love P. Ryan because also. Well, no, yeah, I think P. Ryan's a great play. P. Ryan's a great play if Javonte is completely out. That's for sure.
I'm not seeing anything.
Especially, just double checking that, but especially in this game where they're 3.5 point favorites, probably going to be running the ball.
I'm not seeing anything on Javonte Williams being out. Check
All right. While he looks it up,
this dude.
Oh, okay. So
completely threw me through a loop.
So with Javonte, there was this they were talking about coming out of into the season that there was going to be a potential that he was going to be eased into the role after they came out and said that he was going to be 100% the guy. So yeah, that's with that backfield, since we haven't had a chance to talk about it now that we're on it. What is your take on that backfield? And do you think P. Ryan is going to cut into, because I am high on Javonte. A lot of us are high on Javonte. But do you think P. Ryan is going to be able to carve into that just by the nature of the fact that the Broncos think that Javonte needs to be on a snap count or some kind of committee so that way he can stay healthy? What do you think?
So as I was looking here for a report that apparently didn't exist 3 days ago, right? Per Sean Payton, Javonte Williams will play a big role week 1.
Yeah, but what is a big role? That's the thing, because before it was indicated that he was going to have a big role, and then it was indicated that there might be a little. You know how it goes in the offseason, right?
Absolutely.
Coming into the season, following the news, and then there was indication now that he's going to have a big role.
Absolutely.
What do you think? What do you think that looks like?
I think Samaje Perine is a must roster if you have Javonte. I think he serves a lot more in terms of load management this year. I know that's usually a term used in the NBA, but a lot of running backs this year, a lot of bigger name running backs this year are coming off of ACL tears. Breece Hall, for instance, Javonte Williams is another. You kind of get the sense that, you really, really want to have that backup role secured on your roster, just in case. He could come out and play a big role this week. Over the preseason, Javonte Williams, first it wasn't expected, he might be ready for week 1. And then it looks like he'll be ready for week 1. And then it became, he's practicing. And then it's, holy shit, Javonte Williams is in a preseason game. Like, he exceeded all expectations, and some people might view that as an amazing thing. Some people might view that as a bit of an alarm, kind of like, he rushed back kind of thing. But if he was healthy enough, like he looked good in the preseason when he did play. Obviously, we're not taking like that as the full source of truth. But I think P. Ryan will still get a good supplement of carries just to make sure that Javonte stays healthy. But realistically, you're probably looking at a 75-25, 80-20 kind of split.
Yep. And now I know I'm not crazy. It's Jerry Jeudy that I see in our little injury report here, not Javonte Williams. Wrong Denver player. So Sorry about that, guys. I'm reading that kind of small. Jerry Judy. And that is somebody I really need to check into right now because I might have to start him or I might have to sit him if he's out. So let me know on that update, Corey, whenever we do get that official word on Jerry Judy there.
Let me see.
Game of the week for week 1. It's got to be what? Texans Ravens, right? It's got to be.
No. Jerry Judy's not expected to play week 1.
All right, I got to make sure I flip that out then.
That's for 4 hours ago.
So a few games that I like: 49ers, Steelers. We were just talking about that one a little bit. I'm sure Cheney likes Packers, Bears. Curtis probably would pick that one. Eagles, Patriots is pretty interesting. But if I had to pick a game of the week, still like that, I think like it's just like exciting that I want to watch. It's the one we're talking about earlier. It's Jags Colts, just from a fantasy perspective. I'm just really curious to see Anthony Richardson in that Colts offense. And so it's game of the week for that reason for me, just as terms of like wanting to watch one aspect of that game. But
yeah,
there's so many.
It's Packers Bears.
That's it's closest spread, so that's probably going to be the closest game. But
yeah, it's actually in the NFL's game of the week slot. They're the afternoon game on Fox.
We see what they got on Thursday Night Football. I don't trust their decision making.
But for me, it's more the excitement of we finally get some answers to some questions going into the season, right? It's Jordan Love finally, he had that one start against Kansas City, but that wasn't his team. That was still Aaron Rodgers' team. This is the first time we get to see Jordan Love as the leader of this offense. This is supposed to be the year that Justin Fields takes his step forward into the elite realm of NFL quarterbacks, right? There's been a lot of hype around the Bears during the offseason. I don't necessarily understand it, but someone somewhere does. And so, you have the fucking Adam Ranks on NFL Network saying they're going fucking 17-0. He really didn't say that, but he did say they're going to win like 12 games or some shit like that. But we've seen the line movement. Green Bay opened up as a couple-point favorite when they first released the lines, and now this morning, Chicago is a 1.5-point favorite. There's a lot of question marks for both of these teams going into the game, and I think I'm just so excited that we finally get a chance to get some of these answered. Curtis kind of alludes to it in this question over here. No Christian Watson, still feeling good. Yeah, man. I gotta rock with the green and gold.
You're not. Curtis, you're not going to get an objective opinion
here. I'm just saying, if Romeo Doubs plays, great. I think Romeo Doubs is certainly capable. Then you have Jaden Reed, the rookie, with the same exact amount of draft capital as Christian Watson. You know what I mean? So there's that with it. You have, Luke Musgrave with the same draft capital as both of them.
Yeah.
And then of course, you saw flashes from Samori Toure last year as well. Shout out to the Huskers.
Big Red, baby.
And so there's been a lot of talk about Samori Toure as well, improving. The Packers feel that they have a very good young receiving room. The Packers do have the youngest roster in the NFL this year. So it's all going to come down to getting them experience and getting them reps on the field. So it's I feel good about it. And of course you have top 10 running back Aaron Jones, and then you have the quad father as well, ready to bash up the Bears defense. So
absolutely.
Yeah. We got some more questions. 15 minutes till kickoff. Let's try and rip through these questions here. Get all your last second questions in. DJ Moore or Tyler Lockett at the flex? Justin, what you got?
DJ Moore.
Okay.
I'm not a big Lockett fan. I do think Jason is, since he's a full go, looking good. I don't think Lockett is necessarily going to have a great week. I trust DJ Moore a lot more. I think DJ Moore, just throughout the season, just overall through the season, I would pick DJ Moore over Lockett.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably rolling DJ Moore as well, simply because the target share is going to be much higher for DJ Moore than it is for Tyler Lockett. And when it comes to PPR, volume is king. Targets is king. That's what provides them the opportunities to turn it into stuff. DJ Moore is a good talent, regardless of how I feel about the team he plays for.
Lockett's a 2 or 3, and Moore's a 1 or 2.
100%. That's exactly it, right? Tyler Lockett is going to give you a couple of those boom games throughout the year, just like he has throughout his career. But DJ Moore is much more consistent.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
And the upside's higher. I think I like him in all aspects better than Lockett, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Nev. Appreciate you.
All right. PPR, George Pickens, Drake London, or Cortland Sutton?
I guess since I picked a Drake London earlier, I'll go Drake London. But I'm not. I do like Pickens, but I'm not as high on Pickens as a lot of people. But I do like Pickens a lot. However, the matchup this week is brutal. Well, Sutton 2 now is really interesting. Damn, that's tough. I'm gonna go with Drake London. I'll go with Drake London.
I'm still rolling Drake London. Same reasons we said earlier. Good, favorable matchup. Amazing talent. This should be a coming out party for this offense. Drake London.
I think Drake London's gonna. I believe he's gonna have a pretty good game. Yeah. Thoughts on the Bears, Cheney?
Thoughts on the Bears? I think they're gonna. Okay, we'll take the cheese head off here for a second, because I can't say what I'm about to say with the cheese head on.
All right. We got poop in the chat.
We do. I don't know if you know them or not.
I don't recognize the name, but if we want, we can
go ahead and let's get those spammed comments out of here so we can.
I'll put them in timeout
to the questions that we need. Okay, thoughts on the Bears? The Bears are going to improve this year. It's really a matter of how much are they going to improve. Personally, I think 5-6 wins for them is realistic. I think that's a realistic thing for them, and it'll probably play out. The NFC North is not a strong division. Regardless of how people feel about the Lions, I still think the Lions are going to disappoint over the course of the year. I'm not going to overreact to week 1 against the Chiefs. That is a classic trap for a week 1 overreaction. I wasn't impressed by the Lions anyway in that game.
I wasn't impressed by Patrick Mahomes at all.
I wasn't impressed by either team. But that's neither here nor there.
That's here. Patrick Mahomes.
I think Justin Fields has more of an opportunity to step up as a passer this year than he did last year.
Yeah.
There were some moves that I did like. Obviously, the DJ Moore trade was a big one, as well as drafting, was it Darnell Wright at the tackle position? That's a fantastic tackle. Getting Edmonds at the middle line, at the linebacker position. To me, that's a downgrade from Roquan, but it's still an acceptable replacement. Signing Yannick Ngakoue is another good move. And then, of course, you got the budding safety in Brisker. I do like Brisker a lot. I think he's actually on the injury report. He's questionable. I don't know if he's going to play or not. He was spitting some trash towards Green Bay, but hey, that's in the nature of the NFL's greatest rivalry. So,
yep. That
is my full unbiased opinion on the Chicago Bears for the season. You're still losing week 1.
Curtis, Justin Fields, to me, as always, big college fan. I watched him in person at Ohio State. Great passer of the football. People really underestimate his ability to pass. And I do think this year is going to be finally one of the years where he can start to work on getting in his passing rhythm and kind of working out a lot of those, get that confidence back. I think a lot of it was a lot of confidence in that offense and confidence in his weapons. And it's hard to just want to go to guys when you don't trust what's around you. So he literally took the ball in his own hands, put the team on his back, Marshawn Lynch style, or Greg Jennings style. And then, but yeah, I think Justin Fields is going to have a great year. And I think he's going to be able to pull himself together as a passer and really start to show that how good he is as a passer. So, yep. All right. Let's
see here.
Next question.
So John Quinn has a couple things to say here. Justin Fields not the next Jalen Hurts. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, did we say that, John? Or
also says Cortland Sutton has higher boom potential with Judy out. I agree.
Well, yeah, that's why I said it got interesting with Judy being out, but I still think Drake London's floors. I still like Drake London more this week. I'm not a Cortland Sutton fan to begin with, but also Drake London is the wide receiver 1.
Yep.
Regardless on his team. So his upside's tremendous. I mean, I think Drake London has higher boom potential because Drake London's talent is through the roof in comparison to Sutton's. So I actually think that's quite the opposite. I think the boom potential is in him. So, but I do what you're saying. He does climb up the rankings now.
Yeah. Who's your NFC North pick? What a question. What a fucking question.
Answer this very carefully.
I don't know, man. I think the Vikings are going to take a step back. I think the Lions are going to disappoint. I don't think the Bears are moving past 7 wins. And I
think it's the Lions, for the record.
I think there's a real chance we see the division winner with a fucking 8-9 record this year. Like one of those type of years. And yeah, I think if it were going to be that way, it would either be the Lions or the Vikings.
Yeah. I'm with you, Lions, Vikings, but I think it's the Lions.
Yeah, because I'm not looking for Jordan Love to win the division year 1, right?
Yep.
I'm looking for him to come out and give me like 3,000, 3,500 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, and keeping the interceptions at 10 or below.
Yep.
I think that shows me enough promise to where I can consider Jordan Love the next Green Bay QB for the foreseeable future, and that team can continue to grow and get older and progress from there.
Yep.
I'm not looking for them to turn around and immediately come back to fucking 13-3 like they were before last year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm higher on the Lions than you are. I mean, you said earlier you don't necessarily think they're that good. I like the Lions a lot. It could be partially due to the fact that I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's like my favorite wide receiver currently, but and Dan Campbell is so likable. But I've always kind of thought the Lions this year were going to be very, very good. And I think the only thing that the Vikings got really, they got Jordan Addison, of course, but I just think the Lions got better overall more than the Vikings did. And I think the Vikings required a lot of luck last year to win the division. Well, we all know they required a lot of luck. So, yeah, Lions for me.
Yep.
All right. We got about 6 minutes till. So, is there anything that you want to put up before we wrap up or anything? Or if there's any more questions, y'all get those in here so we can go ahead and get those answered for y'all.
Yeah, I think we'll stay live for a couple more minutes.
Yep.
Field your guys' questions as they come in. Do apologize if you guys were getting hit with those spam comments where our moderator and us are working to kind of get those filtered out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys do have legitimate questions, we will answer them as long as you guys throw them in there.
For sure.
John Quinn says 8-9 division winner coming from the NFC South. Yeah. The NFC in general is just one of two things are going to happen. You're going to have multiple 8 and 9 teams in the playoffs, or you're going to have 3 or 4 teams from the NFC East in the playoffs.
Yep.
Like, to me, that's just kind of how it is. Oh, so last thing before we get out of here.
That's it.
Super Bowl predictions. We kind of talked about it earlier.
I don't even know if I came up with mine. Did you come with yours? Or
I
yours?
I did.
Let's hear yours.
So the NFC pick is the Eagles. It's a pretty basic pick, but to me, I see no reason not to. As far as the AFC goes,
Texans.
I want to say the Bengals, but at the same time, I also want to kind of throw a little wrench out there. And I think I want to say the Los Angeles Chargers.
All right. Mine's Bills Niners.
I like that.
Bills Niners.
Who do you have winning?
Probably the Bills. I think Josh Allen gets his first one.
Okay, that's fair.
I think the Diggs situation is much ado about nothing. I think they flow this season very well. I think they get it together, and I think they go in there and I think they win one finally.
Yeah. I think Jalen Hurts gets his ring this year.
Would not be surprised. That is a very, very good team. So
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's all we had.
Yep. Appreciate y'all joining us. You can if you want to stay up with all the CheesyCorn stuff, like I said, we're going to be doing more live streams. We're going to be doing just live streams, not recordings. So we're going to be popping up and doing lives, during the weeks and stuff like that. So subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so that way you can be alerted of all the lives when they come on. And then if you like the content, like I said, like the video, leave your comments and let us know what you think or areas of improvement. We're going to continue to try to keep this thing rolling and keep it good, keep it helpful to y'all every week, so that way we can help you win your leagues this year. So
absolutely. Appreciate you guys all coming in. We'll be back next Sunday for sure, if not more. Get your beer ready, Martin. Going to be a rough Sunday for you. Take care, guys. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you all.
Go Texans and go Big Red.
We will catch you guys next time.
Later.